Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to my new video, the top 5 things that are keeping you in low elo. I'm going to go over a couple of mistakes that I see commonly in the OPGG reviews I do for my subscribers. If you do one of those, let me know, or if there's another thing you see a lot of your teammates doing in low elo that you thought I should have added, please comment down below. I'd love to hear that. My name is LolFit. I do educational content. I do tip videos. I do guide videos. Do opposition reports. Do a bunch of shit. So check out the other videos if you haven't already. And let's just dive into it. So the number one thing that I think that people are doing that is keeping them in low elo is just playing a massive amount of champions. So many different champions. You really need to stick to a small champion pool. Now, I'm really of the mindset you should have 2 roles, one that you play more as a primary and one that you can play at a sufficient level for your elo in the secondary, and you should only have 2 to 3 champions in those roles, and you cannot stray from that. If you are serious about climbing, you really need to make your champion pool very narrow so you can get used to those champions and those matchups, and then you can start being fancy with champion picks later with the counter picks and everything. But you just really need to get used to your champions. Yeah, I think that's going to wrap up number 1. This is usually the cardinal sin that I see on pretty much everyone that has like 200 plus games in bronze, silver, or gold. So yeah, please keep this in mind when you are trying to climb. Alright, let's just jump right into number 2. Now, I picked this champion and this setup for a reason. I'm not just trolling around. This is really infuriating for me when I'm trying to do an OPGG review for people, because you're crippling yourself with this. So many people are trying to reinvent the wheel, try and do different types of builds that really are not meta. When you're a new player in bronze, silver, and gold, you just really need to be focusing on the fundamentals and be using what has shown to be effective by other people. Do not run stupid builds. Do not run grasp on things that shouldn't be grasped, for example. Do not run weird item builds that aren't effective. Build exactly what you see on pro builds in those certain situations where you see them go up against a bunch of AP or a bunch of AD or a bunch of pick. And never have a cookie cutter build, and just focus on the fundamentals. Do not try and be like, hey, I bet this is good. I'm so much smarter than all these other people that play Annie, for example. I bet I can make this rune work so much more than they could. So just really, the key message here is just focus on the fundamentals. Don't do anything crazy, and just try and learn the game. You gotta run, or you gotta crawl before you can run, basically. That is the overarching theme of this tip. So I'll wrap up number 2. Alright, let's just jump right into number 3 now. This is going to be a sore point for, I think, a lot of players, because they might really enjoy these champions. But one of the biggest things that is holding people back in low elo is they are trying to play above their skill level. They're trying to play things like Lee Sin. They're trying to play things like Azir. They're trying to play champions like Yasuo, like Zed. And the reason why I don't like recommending these champions is not that I don't believe you could carry a game. I know that you've all had that pop off where you went like 10-0 on Yasuo, for example. Which is great. That's really cool that you were able to carry the game as Yasuo. But the reason why these high skill cap champions are very bad for low elo players is because they are very inconsistent with your ability to perform in team fights and in laning phase. One of the most common things I see with Yasuo players is they have a 50 to a 55% win rate on them over 500, 600 games. And it's not that they're necessarily extremely bad players, they just haven't gotten to that point where they can consistently carry and perform at a same level every time. And that is one of the things that easy to execute champions like Annie are going to give you. You're going to relatively know what you're going to be able to do during every team fight, where things like Yasuo, if you just get caught with the wrong CC or a wrong snare, you might just be screwed for the entire team fight. But with Annie, you know, hey, at least I'm going to get out my ult before I die, or at least I'm going to be able to get out a small combo before I die. Where Yasuo, it's like, maybe I'll get my knock up this time, maybe I won't, and maybe I'll carry this game, maybe I'll one-shot that guy, maybe I won't. So really look for champions that you can perform consistently on, because these are going to be the ones that lead you to a higher win rate and are going to... they might not be as fun as some of the champions you love, like Lisa and Yasuo, but they are really going to give you a great understanding for the game and what you need to do to carry games. I usually akin this to trying to climb a mountain. When you're climbing a mountain with Annie, you have wings. When you're trying to climb the mountain with Yasuo or Lee Sin, you have 50 pounds on your back and you gotta hike up. So it's just really how you want to approach it. If you want to make the game extremely difficult for yourself in low elos, you can play those hard champions, but you're going to be very inconsistent. You're going to have games where you stomp, and then you're going to get games where you get stomped on. So just be prepared for that, and be prepared to put in 100 or 200 more games than what the Annie main would put in. So that will wrap up number 3. Let me know your thoughts down below. I know there are some people out there that might have a high win rate in lower elos with those certain champions, but put in 100 games and play at an elo that is similar to your skill, and I would definitely be surprised if I didn't see a 50% to a 55% win rate where you're performing inconsistently, or there's stomping or getting stomped on. So I'll wrap up number 3. Alright, and let's just jump right into number 4. The thing that I think is really important, that might take a little bit of research and a little bit of knowledge, but it will help you tremendously, is knowing your champion's strengths and knowing when they perform correctly and knowing how to carry with them. Obviously, I can't go over every champion for you right now, but I'm just going to use our friend Cassiopeia here, for example. She has an extremely strong laning phase where she's able to bully at quite a great clip with her consistent damage from her E and getting it amplified by the Q poison. And then also she really excels in late game teamfights. In teamfights, in just overall, places where she would be pretty poor would be things like split pushing with her low tower damage, and how she can sometimes get soloed out by skilled assassins. So really try and know your champions that you're bringing into the Rift and when they perform. Something like Lee Sin wants to get their teammates very far ahead in the early and mid game, and then perform in team fights with a important insect where they kick a high priority target into the team. That is how they carry games. Now, having this knowledge is really going to enable you, because you're going to see where your strengths are, and you're going to try and abuse those strengths and attack when you are at a strong level. The worst thing would be a Lee Sin just trying to 1v3 in 30 minutes, where he's gotten outscaled by a couple people, but he's overconfident because he's like 8-2 or something. So really try and figure out your champion's strengths. If you have any questions for me, if you're like, hey, I don't really know when Jinx strengths are, you can just let me know in the comments down below, and I can tell you when they shine and when you should be looking to abuse, and maybe when you should be looking to be playing a little bit more defensive. Nothing infuriates me more than a Vayne in early laning phase that keeps trying to all in and is just feeding the enemy team, when all she has to really do is wait till the late game team fights where she really shines. So that will wrap up this tip, and again, if you have any questions for me, just please let me know down below. Alright, and let's jump into the final tip. Now, this is going to be very personal to me because it is probably the most asked question I have on my channel. It gets kind of boring after a while, but it is. I perform so well in my games. I'm going 8-0. I'm stomping my lane every game, but I'm unable to carry these trash teammates. What am I doing wrong? Oh, God. I've probably heard this. I have a really small channel. I've probably heard this maybe 200 times. And it shows that person's lack of understanding of how the game works. This is obviously a team game. You need to carry. If you are put in a position where you are consistently performing well and outplaying your team, the enemy laner, this is a great spot. You should not be complaining about this at all. You have so much agency in your hands. What you need to be looking to do is spread the wealth around. You need to become a communist when you are very far ahead, because you have so much wealth. You need to share it with everyone. This involves, but is not limited to, roaming to the lanes and getting them kills. invading the enemy jungler, putting him behind because you're obviously going to win a 1v1 in that state, getting deep wards for your team because you're extremely safe, being a Fed member, controlling the objectives like the Dragon and the Rift Herald, which are very important for early game gold, taking as many towers as you possibly can, and particularly attacking towers with low wave clear champions that are defending them. Something that would be extremely a good example of this would be Kassadin or Fizz in the mid lane. Attack that fucking tower. They have terrible wave clear, and if you're a ranged champion, you're just able to abuse the shit out of them while taking their tower. So look to use these things when you are ahead. You should not be looking this as a curse of bad teammates. You should be looking this as a curse of your inability to carry when you are ahead, which is you kind of have the first part of the puzzle done. You're performing well in lane. You're able to beat people in lane, but you don't have the second part where you're able to carry the game. You really need to look at how to affect the other members on the map. You already put one guy in the dumpster, but there are 4 other people on the enemy team. You need to affect their game as well. That's why I like playing in the bot lane and I like playing support. It's because I get to affect 4 people's game in the early game. So if you're in mid, if you're in top, if you're in an ADC, just you need to spread out your lead. Take as many towers as you can because that's the easiest way to get your allies gold, and just put that enemy jungler in the dirt. I do not want to see if you link me in one of those games where you go 8-0 and you're like, hey, my team just fed and I wasn't able to do anything. If I see that fucking jungler performing at a high clip and is like 10-0, I'm gonna be like, why aren't you invading the jungler? Why aren't you looking for 1v1 on the jungler? There are so many things you can be doing in this situation. You shouldn't be like, there shouldn't be a defeatist thing. That you have so much potential of things you can do that are in front of you. Just attack, attack, attack. Don't just keep in the same lane killing the same guy over and over again to pad your stats, and you're only getting 100 or 200 gold per kill. You need to spread the wealth. That will wrap up the video. Sorry if that got a little ranty at the end. I'm just very passionate about this subject because I literally have this thrown in my face every day by people that are asking me questions. Yeah, if you want to reach me, I'm going to put a Discord link and a Twitter link in the description if you want to have a live chat with me and if you want to go over a couple of things that you might be struggling with. I'm always open to help and coach new players. If you enjoyed the content, please remember to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. Make sure to turn on that notification button. I also stream pretty much every day at 6:30 Pacific Standard Time, and I let people know if I'm not streaming that day in the Discord earlier in the day. Yeah, I'll wrap it up. You guys take it easy.